Well, hello. Today I thought I'd share some helpful hints for Thanksgiving meal this week. We all know it's going to be a very tempting day because we're going to have so many things to choose from. And we have to remember just to choose what we really want to have and enjoy the day, but enjoy the company more so. But my quote is from Oprah. Her quote is, "Be thankful for what you have. You'll end up having more. If you concentrate on what you don't have, you're never going to have enough." And that's so true. On Thanksgiving, just think of all the things that you're so thankful for in your life, whether it be your family, your health, your weight loss that you're having, even if it's your struggles, because it's going to be a hard day. It really is. I've already planned out my day, and I'm going to enjoy my meal. My plan for this week is to try to have as many rollovers as I can have. I think you're allowed, I could be wrong, but I think it's 4. I think you're allowed 4 rollovers a day. That means I have 23 points in a day, so I should only eat 19 points. I did use a few of my points yesterday because I did have, I had Burger King for my dinner. But I had a 0-point breakfast, and so I have to figure it out because I didn't track it. I should have tracked it on paper, but I just in my mind kind of tracked it. But I do think that probably my Burger King, because I just had the Whopper, and then I had an iced tea with it. I had a cheese Whopper, actually. But I think it's 25 points. I really do. And I only get 23. So I went a little bit over there. Saturday I stayed on track, and so I'm going to save my weeklies for Thursday. So I plan on eating very light this week. On Thanksgiving, I'm going to have, where I have the advantage is we eat our Thanksgiving dinner at 1 o'clock. And if you follow me, you know that I eat my first meal about 1 o'clock. So that shouldn't be too bad. But I figured it out. I'm going to have a dinner roll, and I'm going to have some butter on it. And I'm going to have some mashed potatoes. I'm going to take a table. I don't use a lot of butter on my potatoes. A lot of times sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. I always just put a little bit of salt and pepper on it, but occasionally I'd like to put a little bit of butter on it. But I'm going to take the 1 tablespoon of butter and I'm going to divide it up between my roll and my potatoes. So it's 5 points for my butter, 5 points for my dinner roll, and 5 points for my cup of mashed potatoes. And then I'm going to have the turkey. I like the white meat. I don't like the skin, so that's 0 points. I'm going to have some butternut squash, which the only way I prepare it, excuse me, is to just salt and pepper it. I put a little bit of everything but the bagel seasoning mix on it. And I think there's one other spice. I do use another spice, I forget which one, but I just use a little bit of spice, seasonings rather, not spice, seasonings on it. So that'll be 0 points. I love green beans. I'm not a big fan of green bean casserole, so there'll be no green bean casserole. So I'm just going to have the green beans, and so that's 0. And I'm going to have stuffing. And I think I forgot to put how much stuffing it is. I think it's, I got it here. Bread stuffing is a 1/2 cup is 6 smart points. Now, 1/2 cup doesn't sound like a lot, but it really, with the potatoes and that, it'll be enough. If I decide I want more, I just won't have the potatoes. I can have potatoes any day of the year. Stuffing, you don't really have that often. I mean, you can have stovetop, but let's face it, it's just not the same as homemade stuffing. It's just not. And if anybody tells you it is, they're leading you down the wrong path because it's not. But anyway, and then, so with that, my meal is 21 points. 21 points for that meal. Because I'll probably just drink water with my meal. And I'm allowed 23 points. So I'm thinking, well, you're still under your points. But I've told you, and I've told you this, I am having a slice of banana cream pie. And the banana cream pie is 15 points. That'll put me at 36 points, which is 13 points over my allotment for the day. But guess what? I'm going to have rollovers for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, so that's 12 points. So that'll almost cover that. I'll only have 1 point that'll have to go into my weeklies. I'm not going to go crazy on that day. I'm going to enjoy the meal. One of the tips that I have is like when you make your plate, because as you're losing weight, on Thanksgiving, for me especially, I have memories of Thanksgiving just loading my plate up. I'm going to measure everything out, but that's still a lot of food, and I might not want to eat all of that food. what I'm going to do is just cover it and eat it later on in the day, like later on for night, at the nighttime, as leftovers. And I'll enjoy it all the more. I'm not going to force it all down at the same time. I also am going to wear regular pants. I am not putting sweatpants on. I am not putting stretchy pants on. I am not putting an elastic band pair of pants on. I'm going to put a regular pair of pants on, because when I get full, my pants are going to let me know, you had enough. When my mind says you've had enough, I'm going to know I had enough. I'm also going to try to eat a little bit slower. I do eat slow anyhow, but I'm going to enjoy the conversation of everybody at the meal. I'm going to have a lot of fun. I really am. Now, I do family dinners, and so we get together all the time, so it's not, I don't know, I don't want to say that it's just not that special, but when you get together every week, it's not, I can't think of the word, but it's still a special day because we know it's Thanksgiving. We'll watch the parade, they'll watch the football game, the kids will play. It'll be nicer because it's earlier in the day, and they won't have to rush off home to get the baths and the homework and all that other stuff in. And we'll just have fun. We just really will have fun. We might play a couple games. It's just, we try to make it a little bit different than a normal family dinner. And I think we really do succeed with that. But these are some tips that you can use to survive a holiday dinner. The first thing you want to do is rest up. You want to make sure that the night before that you have plenty of sleep. What I like to do is the night before is I cut up all of my stuff. I cut up the bread, I cut up the celery, I cut up the onions, I prepare all of that. I set the tables, I put everything out. We always eat buffet style, so I have everything all set out that, I'm not going to be running around the night before. I have the whole day before to just kind of get everything all set up. I really don't wash my floors and all that until after they leave, because there's always going to be a mess. There's always going to be a spill. As long as your house is straight, you don't have to have like the perfect, unless you have a maid, unless you have a Hazel. Remember that, Hazel? Unless you have a Hazel, don't stress yourself out about how spotless your house is. People aren't coming to look and see, oh, ooh, she's got some dust. People don't, your family doesn't do that. If they're going to do that, they're going to do it any other time they come over. It's not going to be just on a holiday. So don't worry about that. Worry about just enjoying the day and being prepared for it. And you want to make sure you get to bed and get at least 7 hours sleep. You want to get at least 7, because if you have enough sleep, the next day you're not going to feel like you're rushing around like you overslept, and you're not going to make poor food choices. You're going to really think, I'm not tired. I'm not going to be making this decision out of just a weak moment. I'm going to be prepared. The second thing you want to do is choose wisely. You can always have mashed potatoes all year round. I'm deciding still whether I'm going to have a little bit more stuffing or if I'm going to have the potatoes. I'm still thinking I'm not going to have more stuffing. I really just think I'm going to have the potatoes, but I won't know until the day comes. And I can have potatoes any day of the week. And so why am I going to worry about that? And like I said, stuffing you really only get like on special occasions, unless you make like a turkey a lot. And always try to have a 0-point breakfast if you can. Have some fruit, have some eggs, have whatever you can, or even just a low-point breakfast. And don't come to the table hungry. You're going to be hungry, that's obvious. But don't come to the table starving. And when you walk in the door, don't be munching on little hors d'oeuvres, or like if they have like cookies or nuts and things like that. Those are things you can have all the time. Wait until after dinner and see if you're still hungry. If you're still hungry for them after dinner, then have a couple of them. Unless it's going to be a vegetable platter or something like that, well, then of course, help yourself to the vegetable platter. But if they have a vegetable dip, no, stay away from the vegetable dip. That's where all your points are. It's not in the vegetables, because all food has calories of some sort. You just have to pick and choose wisely. Number 3 is pour wisely. If you're pouring a glass of wine, you have to remember, figure out how big your glass is. Because if you say, well, I'm just going to have a half a glass of wine. Well, you know what? You can have like a 12-ounce glass. You can have a 14-ounce glass. You can have a 16-ounce glass. You have to know how much it is. So you want to measure it out. And you want to remember that 125-calorie glass of wine can turn into really quickly a 250-calorie glass of wine. Number 4 is to downsize your plate. If you really think it's going to help, and they've proven that psychologically it does help, get a smaller plate. Just if you have a lot of food on a smaller plate, it looks like you've really filled up your plate. And just a mind game, it really is. And you can really cut down almost 3,000 calories just by having a smaller plate, because you're not going to be able to fill the plate up. If you don't take the smaller plate, and if you're not if you're not full after you've eaten it, then go back for seconds. You won't feel so guilty going back for seconds if you first were like half the size of a normal, like your normal first servings. And number 5 is think small. Take smaller bites, smaller sips. Try to just nibble at your food a little bit, not wolf it all down, because it takes a couple minutes for your brain to tell your stomach, hey, we've had enough, we're done, let's go. And you just got to remember that, because you want to enjoy the meal. You don't want to eat to the point that you've ate so much that you're sick, you're stuffed, you can't move, you don't want to do anything, and you just sit there, oh. And then another thing it also does is it encourages you to want to eat more, and you don't really want to eat more, you really don't. If you're going to have that, like I'm going to have that piece of pie, have it a little bit later. Wait an hour or two. The pie is not, well, in my family, the pie might go somewhere because someone will say, oh, well, there's pie. Cut your piece of pie, put your plastic wrap on it, and put it to the side, and just say, that's my piece of pie. Nobody better eat it. And just have it later on. I'm going to put a recipe in here for a crustless pumpkin pie that they had at the meeting. And you use a Premier protein shake for the texture, I guess, or something of it. I don't know. I don't like pumpkin pie, so that's not going to be a threat to me. But so anyway, this is things you're going to do. Oh, and I'm also going to put a list of how many points different things are, so you can kind of get an idea. I'm not a big fan of cranberry sauce. I'm not a fan of pumpkin pie, so my meal is going to be pretty good. I think I'm going to be on track. So all I can do is wish you a very happy Thanksgiving. Hopefully you won't go crazy. If you do eat too much and you do have too many points, don't beat yourself up about it. On Friday, get right back on track. Whether your weigh-in day is Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or Monday, get right back on track. Get back. Go for a walk after dinner. Do something to get your mind off of feeling guilty that you ate too much. It's one day. So, and like I've told you in another video earlier on, if you're good for 300 of the days, 330 of the days, you still have 35 days that you can go crazy. And that's 90% of the time. So if you're good 90% of the time, you can indulge on holidays. And we have a lot of meals coming up in the next 6 weeks. And we have to really prepare ourselves for it. And strive to have just strive to maintain for between now and New Year's Day. And be surprised if you lose a little bit of weight, because if you're practicing just maintaining, not trying to lose weight, then you'll make better choices. That's my opinion. So give this video a like, please leave a comment, please subscribe, and share it if you think somebody might like it. So I'll see you guys on my daily vlog. Well, here's a guide to help you kind of plan out how you want to set up your plate for Thanksgiving. Like I said, it's just one day, and if you go a little crazy, just get right back on track the very next day. Don't think because you ate too much on Thanksgiving that you have to wait till your next weigh-in day. Just get right back on that horse, get right back on track, and that weight will come off in no time. I can't think that it's going to be that big of a gain for you if you just go crazy the one day. Like, I know we have a lot of holidays coming up and a lot of things to celebrate, but just, be very aware. Be aware of what you're eating. That's all I can suggest for you. See if I can get this whole thing up here. Let me see if I stand up. Kind of hard to get the whole... There you go. Well, here's the recipe for the crustless pumpkin pie. I'm kind of glad I don't like pumpkin pie. But this does look pretty good. And it's using the pure protein shake, or whatever, the pure protein. I've never tried it. The vanilla caramel flavor.